Yeah, we're rolling for yet another fragrance review. Kind of a bit of a different one. Normally, I would just do a review for a single bottle or a single fragrance. In the past, I have kind of done because I had so many samples from back where I was working. I had a friend, an acquaintance who used to come in from like all of the shops on the high street, and obviously she would get various fragrance samples when she'd go in, or either test stuff out or um, buy stuff. And obviously we had that in common, and that's actually how we got talking, just talking about different fragrances, notes and so on. So yeah, obviously in the past, as I say, I've done sample reviews as well. One good thing I can say about the sample review is, unlike, and again I've mentioned this in the past, unlike when you put it onto a tester strip, when you get the sample, you get to go away from the store. You can order them online as well, which is what these ones are, which I'll get onto in a minute. And you get to test it onto your skin. You get to go away, go about your day, go to work, go to the gym, whatever, and then you get more of a taste of how it performs on your skin. Because again, everybody's body chemistry is different, their skin is different, as well as the fact that depending on the weather and on the environment that you're in, it can be perceived as strong for some, weaker for others. So that's why, again, I'll reiterate why it's so important to um, test it on the skin, ideally, if you like it. Like, again, if you spray a random fragrance into the air, or even on a tester strip, and you really don't like it, I'm not going to say that suddenly you're going to prefer it on your skin. But in the past, there have actually been some fragrances which on the tester strip smelled amazing, but on my skin did or it was lacking in terms of performance. And sometimes it smells completely different. Sometimes some fragrances, one in particular I ended up buying, when I smelt it on a tester strip, I thought it was awful. Um, but yet when I sprayed it in the air, and I must have walked through it another time because I thought, I don't want to give up on this. It's a very popular fragrance. I'm not going to go into specifics because, again, that's a review for another time. But yeah, so the importance, what I'm trying to say, is testing on the skin. So this is two interesting ones, actually. As I say, I'm going to do one on the other. I've already used half of these little 1 ml samples, so you don't get a lot, but I just wanted to test them. They're very expensive as well, hence why you know, like, some people might not have the money to afford one of these, or let alone both of them. But sometimes it's nice to experience things that in most high street, at least in the UK, at least, you won't be able to sample these. Maybe at an airport, um, but anyway, so for like normal people, it's nice to be able to experience these because they're well reviewed online. I don't want to say they're niche because they're very popular, but they're more like, they're not like the typical designer fragrance, say like an Armani or Lacoste or whatever. Anyway, so we have Xerjoff 1861 Naxos. So it's well reviewed, pretty much unanimous positive reviews. This is how I discovered these. Because again, years and years of the traditional, as I say, Lacoste, Armani, Hugo Boss, Calvin Klein, I've gone through them all. And as I've got a bit older, my taste and smell has changed. Obviously, it's nice to experience like really high-end, premium grade houses that do really nice fragrances. And the other one along them lines is Amouage Reflection Man. So what we'd do, we go with the Amouage first. So again, this isn't just a blind testing. I've actually put these onto the skin, like half the bottle. So it's a few sprays in the past, probably about 2 weeks ago. Went off in different environments. So one was me going out, one was me going to the gym. I got to make mental notes of how they last on my skin, the smell. Obviously going to do it again just to kind of give this review for people who are interested or willing to try these fragrances. Again, these are hundreds of pounds to buy online, and the issue that you'll find is that you want to make sure that they're legit and they're not dupe or not a clone, but like a fake version. So again, what is it? What's the word to say? User discretion is advised. So be careful ordering these sort of things, because again, you really want to make sure you get the real McCoy bottle, because literally they're like, when I looked online on Google, again, their price is going to vary, but for these they're like 300, 400, 500 pound a bottle. So you know, make of that what you will. So let's put the Amouage on, the last of this little container. Does the job though. I've got to test it on my skin, which I appreciate. Yeah, so I do 6, 7. Normally with EDPs I only put a few on, but again, you know, I've already used half the bottle. I might as well finish it up. So already, radiance. Again, I know I sprayed a lot, but as I'm trying to reiterate, it's a sample. If I had the bottle myself, obviously I would be very conservative, especially for the price. But yeah, so, oh, the notes. We'll go through the notes, and because again, it's really projecting and very strong at the moment. So I'll go through the notes briefly, and I'll also do a little review, and I'll do it for the other arm for the Naxos. So this is Amouage Reflection Man. Top notes are rosemary, pink pepper, petitgrain. Mid is jasmine, neroli, orris root, and yanglan. Yangliang, yeah. Base is sandalwood, cedar, vetiver, and patchouli. So, how I detect this already, very professional, very kind of suit and tie. I might not have mentioned these sort of comments in the past, but how I perceive this, and the weird thing is, even though this isn't exactly an old fragrance, it's been around a few years. When I was very young, so let's say half a lifetime away, so when I was like 12, 13, I'm 38 now, I honestly think I have smelt this before on someone that was a teacher or something very close to it, very similar. It might have been a really old Dior or something like that, but you get that classiness straight off the top, how I perceive it. And again, as I've mentioned in the past, some fragrances sort of take you back to memories of different environments, different holidays, people, even places, times, and so on. And again, this just reminds me of this English teacher. He was very good, Irish guy, very funny as well. And I just remember he was always suited and booted, even when other teachers might have been a bit of a mess. He was always very professional. He was a good teacher as well, but he was funny. And obviously he had a fragrance that was very professional as well. And this kind of reminds me of him. This is many, many years ago, but I'm not saying this is a teacher fragrance either. What I'm trying to say is this is something that, again, kind of clue in the title, Reflection Man, of a professional man, suited and booted, or suit and tie, waistcoat, you know, pocket watch, that kind of classy gentleman look. So yeah, very fresh and clean, sort of powdery, or there's a note in there that I detect as sort of powdery, but again, it's very masculine. I wouldn't say, again, comments that I see online, sometimes they say they're unisex, but how I picture this in the memory is just of a man. Again, a woman maybe could wear it if she wants to. She could be suited and booted as well, nothing wrong with that. But yeah, it's very strong on my skin. That's one thing I can say. In terms of performance, when I wore it in the past, it's like an 8 hours, maybe a little bit more on the skin. Again, I've only tested this on skin. I reckon if you put a little bit on your clothes, it would last even longer. So again, it's to be expected. It's a very renowned and reviewed house, Amouage. I believe they're Middle Eastern or somewhere like that on the equator, on the map. So yeah, very, very nice, very professional. I think that it's not too offensive, but it is strong and projecting on my skin. So again, I'll reiterate, it's very expensive for this. Pick the right one up. Amouage Reflection Man. I do recommend it though, if you have the money, if you have a few 300, 400, 500 pound to spare. I think that this is a signature fragrance. I think that in terms of what I would give it, a 9 out of 10. Again, it's not a 10 out of 10 because even though it fits that bill of professional, man and so on, and I think you could technically wear it in different environments, I do see it more as a sort of office, You could wear it going out. Again, you could wear it for different occasions, but I just perceive it as a very professional boardroom meeting. Not really like a clubbing fragrance. Again, you could wear it, but I just think for the price of it, I think that you would want to limit. You wouldn't just want to hammer it on and wear it all the time. So it would be special occasions. But how I perceive it from the notes and my experience, it's more of like an office of power. It is powerful though, but how I detect it in the notes, more office related or meeting or interview, that sort of thing. Not so much going out date wise, but still for what it does and how powerful it is, and the ingredients and the provenance of the company and the reviews, most people online really rave about it. But it's not, you know, it's not really special, but 9 out of 10 still, but expensive for what it is, in my opinion. If personally, let's just say, if I had that kind of money, I wouldn't spend it on this. So make of that what you will, but still 9 out of 10. If you've got the money, if you can sample it, or if you see an amazing offer online for £100 or even under £200, then it's maybe worth considering, because it ticks all the boxes: performance, radiance, and so on. So 9 out of 10 for that one. So now we'll move on to the Xerjoff Naxos 1861. Do this on the other arm. So this is lavender, bergamot and lemon on the top. The mid, honey, cinnamon, cashmere, jasmine, sambac. Base is tobacco leaf, vanilla, tonka bean. So already there's some notes in there that actually remind me, or straight away make me think of Jean-Paul Gaultier elixir, with the honey, the tobacco, the cinnamon. So although they are quite different, again, I reiterate, I'm putting half of this onto the skin, but I've already tested half before. Both of the fragrances last 8 to 10 hours on my skin. I think even more on clothes. They're strong, they're projecting, and so on. So again, put it on the skin, finish up the sample of the Naxos. Doesn't want to come out for some reason. There we go. And we're away. The rest of that. So off the top already, very radiant. That's one thing that most fragrances have. I have mentioned this in the past. Some people, as a minute they spray a fragrance into a shop, or even now, they make the judgment call: oh, that's really strong, that's amazing, blah blah blah. But again, kind of common knowledge, not everybody knows. I learned about it a few years ago. But top notes tend to be, if they're citrus, say for certain people, they'll last on the skin like 5-10 minutes, or even in the air, and then they dissipate. So I just thought I'd put that out there. So don't always just blind buy on the initial top notes, because again, how it dries down on the skin is more important, and the longevity. Again, everybody's different. I'm not saying that performance and radiance is the be all and end all, but I rate the whole thing, not the packaging, but I rate the price, the quality, the performance, where I can wear it, is it worth buying, and so on. And I'll give an honest opinion. I'm not endorsed by companies, I'm not getting paid for this, you know, I'm just giving honest opinion. And again, I'm not going in straight away, because already it's very strong, it's very potent, and I can smell it clear as day, much like the Reflection Man. So again, off of the top, sweet honey, got in a very prominent honey actually. Again, even though that's a mid note, I detect that off the top straight away. So again, how people detect things and how ingredients linger and change or stay on the skin or start on the skin is different for different people. So again, when you see reviews online, like if there's anyone who sees this one, my review of this might be very different to someone else. That doesn't mean that this person's got a broken nose, I've got a broken nose. People detect things differently. I think I've even seen a study that was quite interesting, that women and men actually detect smells differently as well. So just put that one out there. So yeah, very honey, sweet, fresh, clean. I picture summertime, Italy, Spain, somewhere like, I know it is an Italian company, but this is how I picture it. Just in the summer, very sweet, kind of again the opposite of the Reflection Man. The Reflection Man's more like professional, suited, booted, that kind of dark image, maybe wintry, the opposite side of the spectrum. With this, it's very summery, lively, kind of like an event, or like clubbing or outdoors drinking. So they're very different, and I kind of like that they're polar opposites in what they do. Again, going back to the fact that the performance on both of these on my skin is 8 to 10 hour plus. The projection on both of these is very good. Yeah, so the prominent note I get is honey. Again, in terms of dry down, the dry down doesn't change too much on both of these, because for whatever reason they don't. But again, this is a 9 out of 10 for me. It does what it's designed to do. It gives you that summery kind of foreign country warm environment, outdoors, kind of like I don't want to say ozonic, but how I detect it is sort of just like the freshness of being out, like, you know, cleanness, like in a I don't want to say a rave, but you know, like loud music, people dancing. That's how I perceive it. Being on holiday, having a drink, nice weather. But yeah, it's very nice. Again, it's quite different to anything that I've tried recently or bought. I tend to favour darker, woodier, I don't want to say moody fragrances, but clubbing, that's my kind of preference. But when you get something that's very sweet and clean, and if you like honey, as there is a sort of element of smokiness in there, which is probably the tobacco as well. So yeah, 9 out of 10 for that one. So both 9 out of 10, both hundreds of pounds to buy online. So yeah, Amouage Reflection Man, suited, booted, professional kind of guy. You know, possible date nights and so on. And then you've got the Xerjoff 1861 Naxos, the polar opposite, going out, clubbing, drinking, holiday kind of summer vibe, where this is, I'm not going to say you can't wear either or, they're that good that you could, but this is how I perceive them. So like the summery one part of the year, and then the winter kind of Amouage other part of the year. So both 9 out of 10. Glad I got to try them, because I've never seen them in the shop to try them. So end it there. 9 out of 10 for the Reflection Amouage Man by Reflection. Let's try again. Amouage Reflection Man and Xerjoff 1861 Naxos. So again, if you've got the money, fair enough. Very expensive, hard to buy online, in terms of you want to make sure you get the right, you don't want to buy a fake. But yeah, nothing more I can say. Two of the best fragrances I've ever tried. I'm really grateful I got to try them in a sample form. So yeah, there's honestly nothing more I can say. Again, I do want to recommend them, but for most people, I just don't think they would have the money to afford them. Even fragrance connoisseurs and so on, they might look at the price and think, Jesus, that's, you know, that's £400, £500 that could go on something else. So yeah, we're in that there.